Hi everyone, this is Irina, I'm a visual artist, and in today's video we are going to create together this illustration. I'm going to share with you all my Procreate tips and tricks, share with you my tools, my colors, and guide you through the drawing process, and in the end you will be able to draw this illustration. Thank you for being here, grab your pencil, and let's get going. Let's start by creating a new canvas, and my go-to dimension is 3000 or 4000 pixels at a 300 dpi resolution, and the color profile is sRGB. This is the color palette of the day, and it will be available for you to download in the video description, but I will also stick in here the hex code of the color that I'm currently using. We'll start by changing the background color to this very dark blue right here. Then rename the first layer shape. Now, I want to take full advantage of the symmetry tool, so I'm gonna go to Canvas, Drawing Guide, Edit Drawing Guide, Symmetry, change the color of the X because we have such a dark background, rotate this X horizontally, and maybe place it a little bit lower on the screen, like this. And now I'm going to grab this color right here and change my brush to the Evolve brush on the drawing section. And the size that I'm using is 2% on a full opacity. And I'm going to start slowly drawing my shape. You don't have to be really precise about it. I mean, I think it will look better if it's a little bit messy. And anyway, you don't have to draw it perfectly from the beginning. You can always come back and add or remove some parts of it. Now, I'm going to fill it with color. And I'm pretty happy with how it looks. Maybe I want to move it a little bit higher on the screen, like this. Now I'll follow the layer and turn off the drawing assist. Let's create a new layer, rename it Sky. It's going to make sense in a second. And turn it into a clipping mask to the shape layer. And grab a different color, this one right here, and draw horizontal line here. And if you tap one finger on the screen, your line will be perfectly horizontal. Let's close the shape and fill it with color. Now we can go turn on the alpha lock and finally turn off the drawing guide. Now we start adding some colors to our layers, and this is a good moment to show you my favorite gesture control. Let's go to Prefs, Gesture Controls, and what I use the most is touch and hold for the layer select, and also eyedropper to select a color with a touch and hold. Now we'll select this layer, the sky one, and change our brush to the wildlight brush in the artistic section. Wildlight, this one right here. And for the color, I'm going to use this blue right here. The opacity I'm using is about 75%, and the size, it doesn't matter so much because this is such a dynamic brush, so just play around with the brush, maybe 14%, and start adding colors here and there. I mentioned this brush being dynamic. If you just touch the screen with it, you will get such a thin line, but if you press harder on the screen, you get almost like a watercolor. Undo to undo this. And let's start slowly building some clouds. At this point, I'm just trying to add some color. I'm not worrying about creating details. Let's grab a new color. the third one in the third row, right here. And change it again. Like this one right here. We are going to use the smudge tool in a second and perfect these clouds a little bit. But for now, we just want to layer some colors. And let's grab this one right here. And maybe this one, the third color on the first row. Now I'll go to the smudge tool. This is a tool I don't get to use much, but in this illustration, it does all the work really. And use the same oil light brush in the artistic section. And just create these little round strokes to smudge the color a little bit and make these clouds look more realistic. This is a great tool if you want to create some gradients but also want to keep the texture and the painterly effect on the canvas. Just take your time on this step. I think it's very satisfying. I want to have areas with a little bit of contrast, like here, and some other areas with diffused shadows. I hope I'm making sense here. Now I'll select the shape layer, this one right here. Go back to my brush and grab this color right here and start adding some blue shadows at the bottom of the layer. I'm using the same brush size as before, but I'm pressing harder on the stream just to cover a bigger surface. Let's grab a different color. This one right here. And this one. Now let's add some light. change the color again. And add some more shadows here. We're going to mix them in a second so they won't be that strong. And now grab the smudge tool with the same brush as before and start perfecting this. You can also always come back and add some more color if you need to, and then mix it some more. You really need to just trust the process here and build your colors slowly. By the way, I am usually such a fast drawer, but I'm making all the effort here to draw slowly so you can follow along. And I hope it helps you. This is my first time filming and talking at the same time, so many of you have asked for this. But if you have any suggestions, now would be the perfect time to let me know, and it would help me so much because I really want you to get to learn from this tutorial. So anything you want to see in here, or any changes you want me to make, please let me know, and I would be happy to do that. You can stop mixing these colors anytime. Just stop whenever you feel that you like what you see on your canvas. I could go on with this for like hours, I guess. Okay, it looks pretty good. Now let's change the brush a little bit, and I'm going to choose my recycled paper brush. You will find it in the essential shading pack or the complete shading pack. It is my very favorite brush. You get to see me using it again and again. And I'm going to use it at 10% size and about 70% opacity. This brush behaves differently depending on your opacity on the side, so this is why I'm mentioning it. And I'm going to change my color to this fifth color right here. And I just want to soften this a little bit. I'm almost using it as an airbrush right here. And on the sky layer as well. And change my color again. Now I'll create a new layer above the sky layer and also make it a clipping mask. And I'm going to rename it contrast. We are going to set it to soft light mode. And this will help us create a soft contrast, if there is such a thing as a soft contrast. I'm going to choose this dark blue right here, increase a little bit the size, and just deepen these colors a little bit. On this mode, the color gets deeper but also more saturated, as I'm pretty sure you can tell from the screen. And then choose this very light color right here to add some luminosity between here and there. Now I'll create a new layer and move it above the background. And I'm going to rename it background clouds. I'll go back to the brush we have used before for the background. Where is it? This one right here in the artistic section, the wild light. And pick this color, decrease the opacity to maybe 17%, and create some very soft clouds. These ones will be very subtle, but I think they will improve the illustration. Let's change the color again with this one right here. And I'll use black to deepen this background a little bit. By the way, I think this illustration will look good on any color combination. So if you want to make it differently and you get to post it on Instagram, please tag me so I get to see it. Or anyway, if you create this, please tag me so I get to see it. I'm always happy to see what you guys create. Let's create a new layer above this one and name it Moon and Stars. I'll go back to my recycled paper brush and use it on a very small size, 2% and full opacity. And I'm going to grab this color right here and use it as a pencil right now to draw a little moon. If you tap one finger on the screen, your shape will transform into a circle. Now I'm going to fill it with color. Resize it and move it right here. Now I'm gonna go grab the glitter brush. By the way, this sparkle set is totally free and all of the 4 brushes are really good in my opinion. And I'm going to add some random stars on the sky. The size that I'm using is 50% with a 70% opacity. Now I'm gonna go to the eraser and choose my recycled paper brush at about 50% opacity and go over the moon to soften it a little bit and maybe on some of the stars. And now we can go ahead and merge these two layers together. Now I'm going to create a new layer on top of everything and rename it Sketch. And now pick a color of your choice, but I suggest you to choose a very bright color. I choose this very bright green. I will go back to my recycled paper brush, but make it smaller this time, 1% size at full opacity. And we'll start our character by creating a vertical line. Divide it in half, then divide it again, and again. And this will pretty much be the size of the head. I'm going to use geometrical shapes, circles in particular, to create a body. This will be the head, the shoulder, arm, hand. As you can see, I'm not very precise. I'm pretty much building the shapes. Knee and foot. And the inclination, this would be the spine. Don't worry too much about these steps because this will be more of a silhouette and it will have clothing as well. And that will cover pretty much all the anatomy, so you don't have to be really good at this. One thing to remember here is that you need to take care for the head to be aligned with the front of the leg. That means the character is able to stay, otherwise it will fall in the front. Now let me show you a very good trick. I'm going to grab the liquify and push on a rather small size and move parts of the body to make sure the posture is better. Now I'll go ahead and make this color darker, increase the brush a little bit, and start adding the details and my final contour. We'll wear a hat and we'll have this hoodie, a jacket, some sleeves, pants, Now I'm going to create a new layer on top of this one, rename it Mel, and choose this black right here, and a different brush. I'll go to the inking section and choose Mercury on a 1% size and full opacity. And I will slowly create an outline and fill it with color. I really like this brush because it doesn't have such a sharp stroke. Again, you can always come back and add some more details and fill it with color. Now let's move the sketch layer above and change its mode to luminosity and decrease the opacity of the layer so we get to see a little bit what we have drawn before. I'll follow the main layer. You can also come back to the sketch and draw some rays of light to show you do the shading. This should be the light coming to the character. Now we will start shading and I will go back to my favorite brush, the recycled paper brush, at about a 3% size. And let's grab a different color. This one right here. And start. Oh, make sure you are on the right layer. The silhouette will be pretty much dark, so we don't have to do lots of shading. This should be the hand, and I want it to hold something, maybe a camera. Let's choose this dark brown right here. At this point, I feel that we could turn off this sketch layer so I can really get to see what I'm doing. Choose an almost black. Add some words to the character because he has the sun coming from here. This kind of lighting situation is called contre-jour, against the light. That means the light is coming from behind the person. So everything will be black and you will just have some hints of light. And this will be the lightest part of the character. I will increase the brush a little bit and add some of the background colors reflected in the shadows. I mean, black doesn't have to be completely black. I hope I'm making sense here. And now, if you want, you can turn off the alpha lock and go back to grabbing Liquify and change the posture a little bit. Maybe not like that. Maybe you feel your man is too rigid and you need him to look more relaxed. I don't know. Maybe your head is a little bit too small. You name it. Just make whatever adjustments you see fit. Now I want to decrease the character a little bit. And move it in place, and then I'll go back to the man layer, duplicate it, and grab the one from the bottom, go to transform, flip vertical, move it in place, and rename it reflection. Also changing the mode to overlay and decrease the opacity a little bit. Now I'm going to grab the eraser, one recycled paper. Make sure I'm on the correct layer, the reflection one, and erase some of it. The rule here is that the closer you are from the subject, the more detail you get. And going farther away, you kind of lose the details and the color. And it should be kind of a gradient starting from here, where it should be the most opaque, to here, where it should be completely transparent. Again, go grab the Liquify on a smaller size this time and make this reflection less perfect. And this is it. We're ready. Thank you so much if you had the patience to watch this tutorial till the end. Please let me know in a comment if you want me to explain some more. Also, please share with me if you recreate this illustration. I would love to see it. Tag me on Instagram and I don't know, maybe send a message in my DM just to say hi. I love talking with you guys. Thank you so much. See you really soon with a new illustration.